People of the internet, this Nick Fuentes guy has a lot to say about Shane Gilligill, and I myself have never seen Nick Fuentes. I don't know anything about him. So we're going to see what this is all about. Get ready, folks. It's Nick Fuentes crashing out over Shane Gillis.
Want to be some beer drinking slob with an ironic mullet and a jersey emulating their favorite doofus comedian acting like Homer Simpson, who's like, dude, like, shut up, dude.
All right, guys, listen up. It's the lore man here.
Look, Shane Gillis is a funny comedian, or he was a lot better back in the day. But I think the best thing Shane can do for himself is to leave Austin and go back and get his comedy back. The problem with the Rogan sphere is you hang around them long enough, you get dumber. And that's what's happened to Shane Gillis. He needs to go back, sharpen up his skills as a comedian again, and do what he loves doing. And I support Shane in doing that. He needs to just get away from the Rogan sphere. And plus, Shane is a gamer. You got to respect a man that could put a little with the joysticks or with the mouse and keyboard. Anyways, let's keep going.
This one is wild. Nick Fuentes just absolutely torched Shane Gillis, and honestly, he's right. The elites in comedy and Hollywood love to parade guys around like Shane Gillis as this perfect image of the modern white man, goofy, overweight, Homer Simpson-esque, and just an overall clown to be laughed at, not respected. And, Nick Fuentes is calling it out for what it is, controlled humiliation, meant to kind of keep us weak and emasculated. But this is the stuff the mainstream...
You notice it's always the weak and short little guys that are talking about masculinity. I'm just saying. Do you notice it's always like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Hold on. Is this masculine to you? Come on now. Why is it always y'all that always got me talking about masculinity? You never see us tall, giant people talking about this shit. We don't have to. It's written all over our tall, lovely bodies. Let's get back to it.
Stream won't touch. So, guys, I'm trying to get all these Nick clips on YouTube. Make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe. And we're going to start off with a clip here from earlier this year, and we're going to work our way up to show you the hatred as it developed for Shane Gillis and all of the history of that. Let's get into it.
I remember you called Shane Gillis out as a fraud a long time ago, and you were so right. If I was Sam Hyde, I would have chimped out if someone copped my whole flow and made it kosher. Every time he does comedy, it's like he's building up to say something edgy, but never does. Bro is edging racism.
I just don't like that whole, like, I don't like that whole style of comedy now, where it's just like a fat, white scumbag humor. You get like a fat, white dirtbag who's like, dude, like, shut up, dude. That's like all, and I like some of his stuff. Like, some of his stuff is kind of funny, but I just hate that whole genre of, like, you're playing a fat, white scumbag idiot who's just like, duh, 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 duh. I hate that. And a lot of the comedy, what was his comedy special on Netflix? White people aren't cool. He felt uncomfortable at a George Washington museum because of racism. Like, this is our based comedian. The like super white knight shit about retards. Don't you dare talk about people with Down syndrome in front of me. That's not cool. That's just the gayest shit ever. When people get really offended when you make fun of people. I've said this before, but like, a guy that pretends to be edgy, but like there's one thing you can't joke about around him. The white knighting over insane. So yes, I have my criticism.
So I take it this guy's a political streamer, huh? I mean, a lot of times I can't take this stuff seriously. Like, I feel like these guys are just they're leveling up for maximum views. I feel like it's a performance. But on the other hand, if you did take it seriously, I'd be going, well, it just seems like America is headed for a race war. This stuff, we just can't seem to work together, can we? I try to make sense of it. It's just like, why don't you just move to parts of the world where you feel that you belong, whether it's on a beach or the mountains, whether it's in this culture or another culture, and we all just agree to not mess with each other. you know, and to help each other out with trade. I just don't understand. And here's the thing: one of the only things I heard about Nick Fuentes is a lot of the younger generation likes this guy. A lot of the younger men. I don't even know. I don't even know why masculinity is like, whatever. Well, whatever. All you guys crying masculinity, you've got like the worst examples of masculinity. And I think it's unfair for Shane, because Shane is like a Midwest. He reminds me like a Midwest guy. And that's that part of the country, really. That's what those people do out there. You know, and they even do Midwest emo, you know? It's a Midwest version of emo. Oh, shit. But I just think it's unfair. You know, Shane is just a product of where he comes from, and he's a likable guy, and everybody likes him. We all know that person in our life. And it's just a tough one to answer. Let's keep watching.
But he's pretty fun. I like him, but I don't know how based he is.
And like I said, guys, that was from earlier this year. It progressed into a much more heated rant, that's for sure. Let's get into it. I'm going to play these uninterrupted. I got 4 clips here for you. I'm not going to talk over them because I know you're here for Nick.
You know, there's like, the real rebellion is not to be a fucking fat slob. It's not to be a wig. The real rebellion is to be like a white polymath. It's like Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski is like the hero. Not because he's a terrorist, but because this was like such an unbelievable genius that the entire FBI couldn't stop him. A one-man army. That's who we are. An unbelievable polymath. A mathematician, a philosopher.
I just think it's kind of crazy that everybody, even though we know it's one of the biggest things they use to divide us, everybody gets caught up in identity. And it's just so stupid. You know, I mean, how can you fight for like, it's just so dumb. We get into these culture wars and we do all this. Meanwhile, they're just messing up our world over here because we're paying attention to like, you look different than me. It's weird to me.
Philosopher, skilled at evading law enforcement, and I'm not encouraging.
Now, that be said, incels, those are people you should definitely make fun of because they're fucking stalker, weirdo, creepy ass people. I'm not saying that there aren't some people you should hate on. I think we all come from different places, different cultures, and we should just accept that. But incels, don't accept them. They are a blight on society, along with Karens. Karens and incels are like probably 97% of the world's problems are caused by Karens and incels. War, incels. Men that need to prove their masculinity, that don't feel worth, that have tiny yin-yang twins. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. I understand some stuff, but I just, look, we're all different because we're from different places of the planet. It ain't never going to change. We're just fighting for power and oppression. I just think we could all hang out. And don't mean you got to like everybody. Just go to the places where you like people. I don't even know, man. I'm trying to solve some shit that people can't seem to solve for thousands of years. They just too caught up in their anger. This is a product. He just sounds so angry. He just sounds like another Ben Shapiro or that lady on MSNBC. And they come out and they tap into your fears. They tap into your biases and like all these things. And they just poke you. They're just poking you to be like, be riled up. I understand it when you're young. But after you've been on this planet and you've seen this shit, if you're still falling for this shit, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'd rather be around Shane Gillis. I think Shane Gillis, seems reasonable. You listen to his podcast, he seems reasonable. He's not pretentious. He still sees himself failing. He admits his failures. This is a lot better than this guy. You know? This is intense for me. But apparently a lot of people resonate with this guy because stories have been popping up. Asmongold's talking about him. I think there's an article a little while ago with Tucker Carlson mentioning him. It's wild that humans just keep fighting.
Terrorism. But it's like, that's who we are. Ted Kaczynski, Killdozer, Hitler. Like that is what we are capable of. That is what is in our DNA. Christopher Columbus, Joseph Stalin. This is what is in our DNA.
Bro. What is going on in our country? These people... I get we all have different beliefs. But I think whatever your beliefs are, when people do horrendous things, whether or not it's attached to a political thing, I think we shouldn't hold them up. Or like, these guys, shit, man. Okay.
We are dangerous. We are fearsome. We are a martial race. We conquered the world. We are bold. And so we should try to get a little bit of a sense of identity. A white man gets pissed off and he starts bombing people across the country, and all the king's men cannot stop him. A white man gets pissed off, he builds a tank and destroys the entire town. A white man gets pissed off and he declares war on the world and almost wins. And it's like, that's who we are. And white men want to be some beer-drinking slob with an ironic mullet and a jersey emulating their favorite doofus comedian acting like Homer Simpson. Or they want to sound like a... And I hate it.
This is some intense stuff. The things he are saying are like... It's pretty crazy, man. Wow. Wow. People must be angry. It's like, wow. Yo, those are some things to say. I don't even know what to say. Just to be on camera and say those things? This is like, Americans in trouble, huh? I live in a forest, and I keep to myself, and I respect boundaries, okay? Okay. And I see some stuff going on, you know, when I gotta go into town and pick up some food. Oh. You want to check out that Vietnamese restaurant? Some Thai food? Oh, that's the best Thai food, you know? You get one of them Thai food cravings, you're like, shit. And I see it, but I just don't involve myself in this, you know? My YouTube just doesn't send me these things. What's going on, guys? I'm like sitting here contemplating, is YouTube gonna, you know, I'm about, you know, looking into people, hearing things out. But is YouTube gonna, what are they gonna do to me if I put this on my channel? This is crazy. I just never seen this guy before. I just feel like if it's gotten to this point, there's a lot of hatred in the country right now. Maybe across the world. This is why, like, politics and stuff, all that stuff is just sadness, man. This is just sadness. And not like, I don't like you on the internet, you're a sad person, like. It's sad that the world is getting to this point, man. Man, I always said, you know, I should have been born like 30, 40 years earlier. I didn't, you know, once the cell phone came out and social media, I was just open that these days would be beyond me. Like I could get to like 70, before any of this stuff happens. Man, the world feels really unsettled now. This is gonna be a hard.
So it is that deep, you fucking loser. Hey, for every white person that's it's not that deep, bro. Fuck you, pussy. Fuck you. Wear another black guy's name on your fucking t-shirt, you you're wearing a sports jersey for some juiced up, roided up mandingo who's beating the shit out of his girlfriend while you drink beer and watch it. And say, fuck you. That goes for all sports watchers, all sports gamblers, sports bettors, beer drinkers, winners. Fuck you. Hitler would have hated you.
And let's roll.
This is what 4chan's like. Wow. This is insane. It's not like you don't know people are like this, but like people are being public like this. I mean, it's getting bad, isn't it? It's getting this, like, just the things this guy's saying. I just don't see people that way. Holy shit. Man. And this is happening around the world too, huh? It's starting, man. What are we doing?
The next clip.
This has become a caricature of the white man, which has been projected onto us by women, liberal women, by the media, by liberal men, maybe by minorities, by people that are yuppies, affluent people, upper middle class or higher class people. Shane Gillis is sort of like how a white man sees himself through the eyes of people with more status. They see themselves as like, oh, I am the irredeemable white man. I am an irredeemable, insensitive, unsophisticated, crass rube. And they almost play into it and relish in that as a form of like taking ownership over that identity. We have been perceived as, and as white men, we have been perceived as and called by the New York Times, by Ezra Klein, by SNL, NPR, which Shane Gillis used to work at SNL. Through the lens of media, through the lens of elite society, we are called butt scratching, knuckle dragging, unsophisticated, Homer Simpson slobs. And white people almost self-consciously feel this like intense self-consciousness about that and a self-hatred. And they almost own that identity and try to relish it as a form of revenge. That's what I view Shane Gillis as. Shane Gillis is, yeah, I have an ironic mustache that makes me look like an idiot. Yeah, I'm...
Yo. I think when you're young and angry, you think like this. I'm just still thinking this shit's actually happening. It is like, wow. And it's just,
fat and sound like a retard, like I'm perceived as. Yes, I'm a pervert. Yes, I'm a little bit racist. But I'm going to own that And I'm going to relish in how you're offended. Yes, I'm repulsive. Yes, I'm odious. But I'm going to own the human resources chick because I don't give a fuck that I'm repulsive. I'm going to own the beta male, the liberal. I'm going to own elite society by occupying that caricature and offending you in it by being repulsive. I'm going to revel in how repulsive I am. And if you go and hold your nose, if you have to leave the room, if you're offended, then that's sort of my revenge. And I see this as like a form of, it's like an impotent, sublimated rebellion of the white man, where his only way to express rebellion against the HR department at my job is to be a non-threatening, fat doofus that doesn't care. That's how I'm going to get back at you. How am I going to get back at human resources at my job like Shane Gillis and everything he's ever done? I'm going to be repulsive. I'm not going to care. I'm going to make passive-aggressive quips from Pole at the water cooler. And everybody's going to have to deal with how edgy and based I am at the break room. And I just see that as such like a pathetic expression of our identity and kind of like a pathetic passive-aggressive.
I just had to Google Nick Fuentes' height. Checks out. He's 5'9". Yeah. Sorry for the confusion about this, folks. It all makes sense now. It does. I'm sorry. I should have seen this earlier. You know, he'd zoomed in so he looked bigger. It's just this like, it's just so stupid. It is so stupid. And to make Shane Gillis like, dude, the best quality, I've said this so many times, you could ever be blessed with as like a human being is that likable quality. And Shane Gillis has it, and he's honest. He talks about his failures. He's been publicly humiliated, and he still keeps a genuinely good attitude. I'd rather have someone like him in my world than someone like this guy. And it's just, they think that if they get their way, that it'll make the world better, and it's not, because it's just going to divide people and it's going to cause more drama, chaos. It could lead to war, and shit like this is just, it's a little too extreme. It's yeah, like at some point you if you really want the world to work, at some point you gotta just learn to work with people. And I just think, and that's not in all cases and everything in this world, but as far as like society and rules and laws and benefits for people, the problems won't be solved until we all work together. But all this stuff does is divide people further. I'm taking it that this guy is hated and loved. I bet there's a whole bunch of young people that like this guy. I mean, there was always this guy when you were young. There was this guy when our parents were young. There's always this edgy young guy who's and you know, people fall in and out of this stuff, and or you're young and you're just like, this guy's speaking for shit, man. Life's hard. And you're pointing out other people, like most people don't even care about this shit. And he's just making a whole identity about, this is like this is going to give him I don't know, man. I don't know. It just makes me really worried for the world.
Form of rebellion. That's why I hate it.
And it seems to escalate from here. It's he says here, I've had enough of wig and dude bros. And Nick Fuentes gets pretty heated in this clip. Let's get into it.
I've so fucking had enough of and dude bros. It is okay to be white. It is okay to be white, intelligent, violent, dangerous, resourceful. It is okay to be those things. You don't need to talk like a black person to feel like a man. I see that all the time. the way that young
Dude, any guy, if I meet some guy that is just like so into just like masculinity, masculine talk, like we got to do a men's group where we could learn to be men. Man, I want nothing to do with those people. Like currently going on about your masculinity, it just totally means you've got an insecurity and you don't feel like a man, so you're projecting it onto other people that you are. It's such a stupid pursuit. Why waste time on that shit? You're a man. You're a man. Who are you trying to prove to other men that you're a man? Don't you talk about gay stuff? Doesn't that sound pretty gay? That's another thing. Oh, you're gay. You're gay. The people like that, they're so insecure. They always, all the time, have to say that. But we always say that about Tony. Quite a conundrum, huh? Anyways, let's go.
young white men ape the way that black people talk, specifically black men. Black men are always smacking and licking their lips. And I see white men, all of those little micro expressions, all of those little mannerisms. And they do that when they want to sound sexy. They do that when they want to sound tough. Want to know why? What does it mean to be cool? It means to be sexually charismatic. It means to be cool under pressure, physically dominant, capable of violence. And when young white men want to sound threatening, when they want to sound sexy, they emulate black men because they don't feel comfortable sounding like white men. Because to sound like a white man feels lame, dorky. To sound like a white man feels weak. Because there are no role models of a dangerous white man. Not like 100 years ago when you had Clint Eastwood. Not like 100 years ago when you had John Wayne. And people said, I want to be like Clint Eastwood. I want to be a badass like John Wayne. Or even for the Italians, I want to be like the mafia. I want to be like James Dean, or I want to be like Steve McQueen. Now what do we have? We have all these hits. We have nothing.
And then we have one last clip here. So let's get into it.
Hold on a second,
Haven't we all-
guys. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second, guys. This is the guy about talking about being masculine and tough. He doesn't feel like a man. I'm just saying. This is insane. Fucking insane talk. This is wild. Do you see why they have to keep going on about masculinity? Guy's like 100 pounds.
Heard that joke before? A WNBA joke in the big 2025. I mean, I remember hearing the WNBA.
And wait, hold on a second. Let's Google her. Hold on. Yeah, and this guy, Destiny, you know that other guy, Destiny? Destiny, it says it's alleged that Destiny, that other political streamer, who's masculine as well, right? That he gave a blowjob to this guy.
NBA jokes.
I don't even know if
In
I'm going
like
to put this
7th
on my
grade.
channel.
Nobody knows WNBA
looking less likely.
players. And I started to think about all the jokes that I've heard Shane Gillis do, and I think about his show, and I think that, and bear with me here because I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I want to organize them in the right way. And so it's not just about the joke. It's sort of like what that joke represents, which is that joke really funny? Is it really fresh? Is it really politically incorrect? I think the answer to all these questions is no. The premise is stale. It's trite. It's been done before. It's not particularly funny. It's also not really that politically incorrect. I mean, is that any more politically incorrect than Saturday Night Live these days, or Adam Friedland, or any left-wing comedians, Bill Burr? Is it that much more politically incorrect or edgy than that? No, I don't think so.
This is the same reason, like, this is the same reason I don't like the pants shitter guy, Pooh Bar. The same reason I don't like him is the same reason I don't like this guy. It's just a lot of hatred. I get it that you can say, oh, someone's hating, someone's negative, this, that, and the other because they don't like something like you. That's most of the internet. But these guys, whether they're acting, right, playing a character, is which they all default to once they have to be accountable for what they say, right? Oh, we're playing a character. They're just pressing, and under the guise of free speech, they're just pressing the limit just to see how far they can go and just to anger people. And it's just angry. And it's not angry, it doesn't make you angry because they don't agree with your feelings or your opinion on somebody. It's just chipping away or attempting to chip away at that nerve of society, of these hatred threads, these things that rile people up in society, and the taboo things you can't say. The taboo, oh, I should be able to say this. And it's like, we don't say that because it's out of respect, not because it's not masculine or it's an insult. It's just like, why would you say something that is an instant trigger for somebody? It's just crazy. This is the same reason I can't stand this shit. They're just spreading division. They're not really contemplating anything. They're not really looking in somebody, like standing in their shoes, trying to see what it would be like. They're just sowing hatred. And people just, oh, this is what people, and it's just like, come on, how does this make the world better? There ain't probably nothing written about this guy that isn't on one side or the other. And this dude puts himself out there like that, which is a whole nother complex set of situations. You put yourself out like that. Like, people are so ready to attack other people. You will not see me, like, go and just create chaos with somebody. If I have to stand up for myself, it's taken a long fucking time for me to get to that point. Now, say something right away on certain situations, but if I have to come out against you, you've done pressed my buttons one too many fucking times. But people are so focused on just attacking people on, like, crazy shit. Dear God, man.
And yet, people...
Not to mention, it's a waste of your life to get caught up in this shit. You're missing out on so much cool shit in a world that doesn't present you a much cool shit. Like, a lot of your life, you got to work. You got to do shit you don't want to do. And somewhere in between, you get presented with cool opportunities or trips or to meet a person or to go to your favorite show, And you're wasting your energy on this shit?
People are laughing, not necessarily at the joke, but they're laughing at the joke as a statement. And it's really laughing as a form of cheering, as a form of solidarity with the joke, which is to say, I can't believe he's sticking it to them. Which presumes he's sticking it to them. He made a joke about the WNBA. I can't believe he just said that. And I'm thinking, the whole Shane Gillis act, and all the jokes are very similar. It's a joke about Juneteenth. The joke is, I'm a horny perv. Bill Belichick has a 24-year-old wife. Well, if you were wealthy like him, you wouldn't have a fat, ugly dog wife. Ho, ho, ho.
You see the guys that want to just push the limits like this, and like, it's freedom of speech to do this. They're all short men that feel insecure. I'm just going to say it. I'm not trying to offend any of you short kings, okay? Short kings out there. Not every one of you's like that. But in this situation, it's always like that. Because they're the ones that don't look masculine. If we're holding everybody to this masculine standard that they all claim. And it's true. From Nick Fuentes to Andrew Tate to Ben Shapiro to, you can list some liberal ones. I don't know them all. They're all this guy right here. They're all the most unmasculine man you could ever imagine is preaching to the world about masculinity. Isn't that crazy? You don't see no tall dudes talking like this. You don't see no tall guys going around just worried about, oh, if I do this, is he going to say I'm gay? If I do this, do I look like a real man? I better go and get some Black Rifle coffee and wear my 5'10" jeans and my combat boots and look like I'm a combat veteran. All these men dress in that dumbass shit. And they're all just trying to shout out to people who they are. They're so worried about how they look in other people's eyes that they don't realize that you look fucking retarded. Shit is so stupid. If you want to pretend you want peace and you want to pretend that you care about other people, then start listening. Start opening up your mind. Stop falling behind all this shit that just constantly divides people. It's just so tiring and a waste of fucking time. You think you're going to be caring about this shit when you're fucking dying? I was thinking about that today. I saw this video. I can't remember where it is. But it was a ski hill. Like right below the ski hill, like right up against the wall. I don't know if it was a special place or something. That you could see the city and there was like skyscrapers and you're snowboarding down this ski hill at night. Like, could you imagine? For me and my friends, when we used to just we snowboarded since we were, man, I spent so much of my life snowboarding. And we'd always get to the top of the hill. Of course, we'd blaze the pipe on the lift, you know, right? And then we'd get to the top of the hill. And right before we have to get off the lift, everyone's like putting their music. You see them putting their earbuds in, but you just glide down that mountain. Just glide. And you're just taking turns. You know, you get them big wide ones. Just taking them big sweeping turns. So anyways, this video was these two dudes snowboarding down this hill at night with the lights of the city shining on them with some cool music. I was thinking about that. I was like, damn. I injured myself off of a jump. I think in 2020, I took an icy jump and it hucked me. I shouldn't have did it. I didn't look at it. The snow wasn't great. It was just like, you want to run up for a half day? It's cheap right now. You want to run up for a half day? I'm like, shoot. Yeah, get a half day in. Half day, man. Sometimes all you need is a half day. I mean, if I could do a half day all winter long, bro, like 3.5, 4 hours, with the lift times, you know what I mean? Get some runs in. Man. Anyways. Yeah, I got hurt in 2020. Okay. But I was thinking to myself when I saw that video, man, I got to do more of that. At some point I won't be able to do that. What am I doing? Why haven't I got on the mountain? And I've been checking. The mountain, seeing what the conditions, and it's been really wet. So I'm hoping it'll be a good snow time. But that's the kind of stuff I want to worry about. And I get it. I've been young and angry. But it got me nowhere. And so I just don't think it's productive. I think we need to start looking for solutions instead of divisions. And this is why I'm just not a fan of people like this. Because they're not presenting any solutions. They're just presenting more ways for you to hate the opposition of whatever you believe in.
And what's the joke? It's crass? It's insensitive? What's the joke? Horny perv, dude, bro. And people are not laughing. This is like the lowest hanging fruit. Cheap, easy. It's kind of using edginess as a crutch, kind of leaning on shock and outrage as a crutch. But it's not even shocking. It's not even outrageous. It's not even funny. If anything, it's sort of like providing something psychologically for people to feel like it's politically incorrect. And I said on Telegram, it's almost like a tribute act for like the 2000s. It's like a tribute act for chuds that say things like, they could never make that movie today with political correctness and everything. It's sort of like an exercise.
I think Shane Gillis needs to go to New York. That's what I think. If there's any point this guy's making, the humor, the Joe Rogan, it's just very dumb. It's not very creative. It's not very witty. And I'm not trying to sit here and be pretentious like I'm smarter than all of you. I just think it's like you could tell those jokes in elementary school. It's just, okay, you farted. Okay. Can we talk about something else now? I mean, you've been going on about that your whole life. And it's those kind of jokes. And yeah, it's not inspiring. You watch something, and I know people have opinions, but if you watch something Dave Chappelle does, you would almost think you're not at a comedy show because he just doesn't go up there and do his 10 minutes. He tells you a story. It's like he's a great storyteller. And when you see something like that and you see something like Joe Rogan, like Joe Rogan said, there's levels, right? And so I think Shane has taken on some of this Rogan sphere identity, and he needs to just go back, get away from it, and do him. The best you can do is you. And I think that's what he needs to focus on. I think his take on this is trash. Absolute trash. He's just trying to make Shane Gillis into someone he's not. Shane Gillis, he's got faults, he's got problems. But as far as Shane Gillis comes across from his podcast, his media presence, Shane's a good dude. No matter where his comedy's at, Shane is a good dude. And if you're tripping on that, I think you should look at yourself. He's humble. He's honest. A man that could admit his failures. I have talked about Shane Gillis, but the only thing I ever talked about is comedy, because I think his comedy's lost his way. And when you see his first special to his second, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He needs to get back to that. And granted, he's apparently waking up to some of this. But it's hard sometimes when you get the fame, the money, you lose track of yourself. But I think if anybody will go back to who he is, it'll be Shane. Stuff like this, maybe it's clickbait. I don't know, man. This is like really intense. Intense take when you're talking about Shane Gillis. It's kind of an intense way. Even if you want to hate on Shane Gillis and you don't like him, it's kind of a very intense way to shit on somebody. Like an extremely intense way. It's not cool.
Doing these kinds of jokes almost feels like an exercise more than it is actually observational, more than it is actually fresh or novel or even funny for the sake of being funny. It's almost like an exercise, and people are like right-wing dudes are laughing with it in the same way that trans and women are laughing as a form of cheering for like lesbian comedians. Lesbian comedians that make like a feminist joke or make a joke about homophobia or make a joke about, you know, racist white people. It's like a form of signaling. It's like a form of cultural political signaling. Like I identify as like a chud. This is the humor for me.
And there you have it, guys. Nick Fuentes isn't just roasting Shane Gillis for laughs. He's exposing a pattern. The establishment doesn't want strong, like, proud men who, know their history. They want a bunch of Homer Simpsons with beer bellies. They want court jesters.
See, this is stupid. The one thing, I don't listen to Shane Gillis all the time, but of all the people that I could listen to, every once in a while I'll get recommended one when I'm, like, hiking or something. And I'll check it out. Man, Shane has a nice grasp on history, and the way he talks about it, the passion, you can see. Man, I love history. I love it so much, I dedicated a part of my life to it. And I could see that in Shane. And he always like, what do you mean? You don't know your history. These guys here, obviously they lean to one side, which is obvious which side, that's their preference. But they are in power right now, and they're still talking about the establishment. Brother, your party is the establishment. Isn't it crazy? So it's not like these guys, they don't even know what they want. And that's why you get these con men. The problem with this is these guys are con men. These guys that sell these really intense ideas to people, they're con men. And I think about like these are the same people that will attack other people's kids, the same people that will just like publicly humiliate their friends. Like, these people are bad people. These are the people that are behind all the bad stuff going in our world. They hold those positions, if you know what I mean. And I think shit like this is tasteless. It's absolutely fucking tasteless. I get making fun of shit. I get it. It's fun to troll. It's fun to make fun of things we don't like. But this stuff just sows hatred and division, and it's not good for society. There's a reason a lot of these things get extinguished. Is because they're just not, you cannot survive on this type of shit. You're asking, and this guy wants you to either like love him or hate him. He probably thrives more off the hate, but I can't even give him that. I just feel really sad for him. I feel sad for this guy. These aren't solutions. This is a power play. This is division. And why it's so fucking tasteless is these are really dangerous topics in our country to play with. To put them out on the internet, like, and people that do that, like, how can you trust them? They're willing to compromise I can't even. And because it's so dangerous, to attach Shane Gillis to that is just tasteless. You're putting him in nuclear bomb territory. And the people that want to just like treat these things casually, like, oh, it's free speech, bro. We could say. It's like, no, you don't want free speech. You just want to poke the other side. You want to just punch the other side. You want to just like tear a hole in the fabric, not even like work things out. That's why you can't trust these types of people. People aren't like myself, these other content creators all across YouTube, millions of them. Like, you could feel certain ways about us, right? And that's your personal choice. I get it. I don't get offended if someone doesn't like me. Like, how do I change me? Right? But this stuff's calculated and nasty. Because you really, to get on camera and say this shit, I imagine you'd have to have a monstrous battle inside your head. And like, the moment you publish something like this, it's just like, certain part of the world, gone. You ain't even giving people a chance to like you with this stuff. Not even over your ideas. You're just spreading hate. And so I feel sad for him. He's got to live with this. You could appear stupid on the internet. You can not like, there's a lot of things it'll blow over. But stuff like this, but maybe the world is getting so crazy. I just know this is not the solution. I was watching this video about a chef, and he goes to other kitchens around the world, or I don't know around the world, but he was in Australia. And he was going to work in his friend's restaurant that is like Michelin star, ultra fine dining, top notch. And the guy is making local Australian food. Like, I don't know if it's whatever. Crocodiles are the ones that are there, right? Crocodiles and kangaroo. And so the guy's working in the shop, and he's having to slice the kangaroo into thin slices, and then they stack all those slices together, and then they put it over the fire, really hot fire, char both sides, you know. And he finishes doing it, and he was like, wow, that was really enjoyable. And then he notices, like, the kitchen was so quiet, and everybody was just doing what they were doing, and he said it felt so peaceful. And then he went into the back, and he asked the girl, like, what does it feel like? And she's like, oh, it's really peaceful. It's so nice. And then the chef came out, and he was talking about how in kitchens you can get treated really poorly. You can push passionate people away. Like, you could be bullied, you could be humiliated. He was talking about how a lot of them are drunk or doing drugs in the kitchen. And he said, my passion for cooking outweighed the fact that I was bullied, that it was just horrible work environments. And then he's in his chef. He says, in my kitchen, we promote talking with each other, figuring out constructive solutions, not yelling, not doing that, like just learning all how to do our jobs. And it really struck me, because that is the best way. You have to put away things and look at what's in front of you and make the best decisions for all people. And choose to make peace. We need peace, man. We need it. This world we're living in, it's tiresome. Most people are just scraping by. Most people are having to do things they hate all of their life. And we need peace. We don't need more of this. I think this guy wants some kind of reaction, and I just can't. I just feel sad for him. And it has nothing to do with my political beliefs. I just know whatever side you're on in this kind of rhetoric, I just know Yeah, it don't work out. It don't work out. I'm good on this one. It's pretty crazy. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Don't stay.